Yawn. Anyway, I probably look like an idiot with my face there, but anyway, yeah. Hey guys, D Music Reviews, Doug, whatever. Back with another review. I'm kind of annoyed because I just tried to do this one, and I was like 1 minute from finishing. I was just basically finishing off the review, and then it said that my memory is full, and it didn't even save the last video, so I've got to do it all again. Which sucks balls, but hey, whatever. So yeah, before I get into the review, I usually have something to say before other reviews, and that's no different with this. And that is basically, I know this won't really help, but Cover Killer Nation, if you've never heard of him, or even if you have and you're a loyal subscriber, fucking support him, because he's trying basically to get a YouTube partnership, and it's something which I really fucking feel he really deserves. You know, really good reviewer, really good guy, really fun reviewer, and all his videos are just fucking 5 stars. You know, I don't mean to sound like a fucking fanboy, even though I am, but he's really got a lot of good shit, and I think he really deserves it. So if you're watching this, then please just go over to his account, Cover Killer Nation, just one word, and support him in any way you can. Favorite, like, watch all his videos. He's got some really good reviews. And I really look forward to the future with him. Not in a gay way. Not in a gay way. Anyway, and who knows, maybe some other reviewers from the community will also take that in their stride, and will also try to get a YouTube partnership. Not that I know who. Free creation. So anyway, yeah, I'm back with a review. This time I'm reviewing what I thought was a one-man band called Ayreon. And it more or less is a one-man band. Ayreon Anthony Lucassen, who is the, you know, he does the vocals, guitar, bass, and keyboards, pretty much everything excluding the drums. That honour, I suppose, falls to a guy called Ed Warby, who's been in a lot of bands. And really, this group is really, really good. Even though it's not really a group, it's just sort of one man except for drums, but still, I really like Ayreon. You know, they're progressive metal or progressive rock. They do a bit of both, really. They're classified as both. Their lyrics form around quite a few things, but generally it's science fiction, fantasy, imagination. You know, most of their albums are sort of concept albums, and this one is no different. Oh, I just sort of had a little bit of sick. No, what? Never mind. But yeah, this is the album I'm going to be reviewing. Is called The Human Equation, which was released in 2004 under Inside Out Music. Under Inside Out. I shouldn't have said that. The first thing I've got to say about this album is it has a fucking lot of guests. If you don't know Ayreon, since they're basically just one man, they get on a lot of guests because, of course, you have to fill a lot of places. Mainly vocals, because Ayreon are really, really, you know, they think a lot of getting a lot of other vocalists on and have a lot of different voices on their work. And this is no different. Just to name, there's about something like 12 vocalists. There's some keyboarders, there's some drummers, there's some acoustic instrumentalists. They've got a lot of stuff going on this album, as they do for pretty much any of their albums. You know, just to name a few of the vocalists, they have Michael Ackerfeld from Opeth. I didn't pronounce his name right. They have Mike Baker from Shadow Gallery. They have Magnus Epple from The Quill. Irene Jensen from Karma. They have James Labrie from Dream Theater as the main character on this concept. Devin Townsend, everybody knows who he is. And of course Ayreon Anthony Lucassen as, you know, himself. And I don't really know if I've heard his voice before on previous ones. But if I haven't, then I think he's actually a really good vocalist. And he's starred a lot of bands. I think you should check out some of his other work. I'm sorry I keep on wiping my mouth, but I don't know, it's just itchy as fuck. Anyway, enough about my mouth, because that's weird. The album has 2 discs. Disc 1 has 11 tracks, and disc 2 has 9, to make up 20 tracks, and 20 days. They take each track as a day in the character's mind. I don't think I've explained the concept, but the concept is that the character, who's just called Me, who's played by James Labrie, basically he's sort of had an accident. I think it's a car crash, and they're following the album is following his thoughts, his feelings, and what's going on inside his head while he's in a coma, as well as, you know, the words and the actions of those around him at the time, which is a really interesting concept. I think it's really fucking unique. I've never heard of anything like this before, although I'm sure that somebody out there has. But basically, yeah, the album, when you first listen to it, you'll probably listen to Day 1 and Day 2, Track 1 and Track 2. And Track 2, I think, is one of the best tracks on this album. It's 8 minutes and 40 seconds, 42 seconds, something like that, around those lines. And it's really, really good. Most of the characters come into play here, and there's a lot of good music. And it's one of the best tracks. You've got a lot of good tracks on this. But I'm immediately going to say that the album itself is just way too fucking long. I mean, I think the album is something like 101 minutes and 20 seconds or thereabouts, which is fucking, it's a huge listen. And the case with most of these songs is, all of the 20 songs, excluding the opener and Day 9 Playground, are full-length songs. You know, they're full songs which you can just try to listen to alone. But the problem I have is, a lot of the songs, there are some songs you can just put on, you can play, you can listen to it and you can enjoy it. But there are a lot of songs that are very sort of, you need to listen to the album to enjoy them or to make sense of them. You can't just listen to them on their own because they're just pretty shitty on their own. You know, if you add in all the other songs, you'll make the story out of it, but it's not something you just put on and have a little jig to. Not that I really jig to music anyway, unless it's Blind Guardian. No, I'm joking. But basically, the album, one of its huge faults, like I've said, from, you know, the length of the album, is the songs themselves are fucking long, way too long. A lot of them just drag out, I guess, for the ability to call it really progressive, but it just doesn't sound good because they just drone on with the same sort of melody or same sort of rhythm, and there's just nothing really to them. They just drone on for 2 minutes. The songs are way too long, and it makes it quite unenjoyable, and it just makes the album really, really hard to listen to. There's some songs, you know, I'll go through most of disc 1 and I'll stop because there's just I've already heard like an hour of fucking stuff. I don't want to hear any more, because you do eventually get bored. Something just fell out of my cupboard. But still, you know, that being said, it's basically just the music which is at fault, except for James LaBrie. All the other vocalists have really powerful, really melodic voices which really fit in with this music. And I'm not saying that James LaBrie doesn't. I really like James LaBrie's vocals, just not on this album. They sound really stretched out, really sort of croaky. They sound really, it's like his voice box is really being strained to sing on this album. James LaBrie just sounds really fucking weird on most of these songs. It's almost as if he's like 20 years older, and it's quite bad to listen to. It's quite harsh, and it doesn't make it that enjoyable, although some of the songs, like I said, are really good. But I guess it might not be his fault. It's just that the lyric writer, which I'm guessing is Arjun Anthony Lucassen, you know, some of the words he put in just don't fit with the rhythm or the music. You know, there's a part in Day 2 Isolation, for instance, where James LaBrie is having a conversation with, I think it's Pride, or no, it's not Pride, it's something like that. It's one of his feelings, and they're basically talking side by side. James LaBrie gets a sentence in, then his feeling does, and then it goes back and forth. And it's just really fucked up, because some of the words last so long, they have to stretch them out, it just doesn't really work. Anyway, I'm going to stop speaking now, because this has gone long enough. But, I mean, generally, the album itself is quite good. If you can actually stomach listening to it for over 100 fucking minutes, almost 2 hours. But generally, there are a lot of faults to it. A lot of people might find it unenjoyable. I only listen to a few songs. I don't really touch the album as a whole, because it's just way too much to listen to. So maybe get the album if you're interested. If you've heard of Ayreon, it's one of their good albums, but a lot of Ayreon stuff is very sort of stretched out. You may enjoy it, you may not. It depends what your viewpoint is on progressive metal and progressive rock. Mine is quite strong, but even for me, this is just too hard to fucking listen to all the way through. It takes way too long. But still, check it out if you want. I might upload it to my channel, though I fucking doubt it. And anyway, yeah, thanks for watching the review. I'm sorry it took so long and it's so bad. As for my last review, I asked you to send in any feedback or suggestions on how I can improve, so please do that. And yeah, thank you very much for watching.